everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, maybe consider subscribing. This is Van Life Plus Movies. What's going on? Well, on occasion, I talk about movies. On other occasions, I spend my time building out a Chevy Express 2500, turning it into a full-time livable home. Depending on when you're watching this video, I'm still working on it. If you're watching this a couple years down the road from the published date, I'm living in it. Either way, today I'm finally tackling this horrible space that's been bugging me, which is this space here. We've got the kitchen cabinets here, the bed platform over here, and I want to cover this up. So first thing I've already done is I cut some of the spare plywood that was left over from the bed platform, painted it gray, the same gray as the cabinets up there, and the wheel well box. And I've attached it to the frame of the bed. So this is giving me a nice solid surface to build off of. And now I've got some leftover MDF board that was used to build the wheel well boxes, and there is one under the bed. You can't see it because the bed's in the way. The whole purpose of this entry in the vlog is I'm gonna see how much storage or like cabinets, cupboards that I can build with the scrap wood that I have left. We're trying to avoid going to Home Depot or Lowe's to get any more wood, although if we do that, where we will start will be the cull wood piles. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, so this was a piece of that leftover MDF. Now, if I can remember which way it goes in, this is going to rest on top of this little lip from the kitchen cabinet. So yeah, this is gonna sit here. I'm gonna paint it probably gray. I was thinking maybe white so it matches this, but I think gray will be better because for this area here, I'm thinking like cupboard for stuff like chips, cereal, dry cereal, whatever, you know. So it's going to be a nice sized space here. And I also have space under it, which I'm going to keep like emergency food supplies and the first aid kit and stuff like that. It's not being supported against a piece of plywood, right? So I need to get a little 2x2, cut, I don't know, a section about this big, attached to the plywood underneath the MDF board. So there's a brace, and then that'll give us the structure on this side that will hold this platform up, and then build another wall here. It's going to come up here, be level with this countertop, right? And then another piece of whatever MDF come out this way. So essentially we're building a box, and I'll probably put a cupboard door on it. Maybe opens this way. Right? I can't see. Maybe opens this way, not this way. That's the plan, and we're going to do it all with what we have hanging out in the garage still. We're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty here. And stuff that needs to get done. I mean, there's still plenty, don't get me wrong, but this will not forever be a van build channel until stuff starts to break, or I want to do improvements or upgrades. For now, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I wasn't going to film, and I was like, well, this has now become something else. I only wanted to get this piece on today, and then I was going to call it and just go relax. But if you know me, and you've been paying attention, once I start something, I usually like to get as much done on it as I can. I don't know I'm going to do too much more today, simply because I do want to paint this MDF, and with the MDF you have to do multiple coats in order to get it nice and smooth, because the last thing I want is a rough surface for like bags and boxes to be going on top of in my kitchen cupboard. So that is that plan. So I've just been sitting here kind of thinking about this space and this cupboard and everything, and I said I was going to paint this, right? Paint it gray and smooth it down. It's pretty smooth as it is. Chip bag's not getting stuck on it. I don't think I should waste the paint on it. It's just a shelf. This outer edge here is the only part that will ever, no, it won't even be seen. This whole thing will only ever be seen when the door is open. So yeah, sure, paint the door, but I don't think I'm gonna waste paint on this, considering it's just an interior shelf. So all I need to do now is get that little 2x2 and attach it underneath here, right about there. For this little area under here where I'm gonna put like my emergency food supply and stuff and whatever, I'm gonna build a door that just comes off. And I'm gonna put a piece of Velcro here, and I'm gonna put another 2x2 or whatever, just kind of here, another Velcro strip there, and then just an MDF board with a white handle, and this whole thing's just gonna pull off. Considering it's so low, I'm not gonna bother with hinges or anything. So bottom line, I'm not painting that shelf. I just made it 10 inches. It's way shorter than the actual shelf, but it will provide more than enough support, I can tell. So there's nothing scientific to what I'm about to do. I'm just going to attach the shelf to this piece. I'm just going to attach it with screws, and then hit this with some construction adhesive on the edge that's going to connect with this. And then I'm going to bring it up against the bottom of the shelf, slide it over, and then hold it there while it sets, and then hit it with a couple screws. So I'm going to screw it here and on the far side here into this wall. And that way on the top, I can just come down with 2 screws in the middle. Should be good enough. And like I said, it's not scientific. That bloody fly. Get out. Got to put one more screw at the back of that support beam. One of these days always turn into like way more than I plan, because I don't plan anything. I put, yep, aha. Super cool. So now there's the last thing just to finish off today. Probably what I'll do is put that tiny little support here. It will be painted? No, probably not. Again, I'm just saving paint because it's going to be covered by the nice door that will go right here. So do that. That will also give this corner a little extra stability. Like this is solid. Where is the weakest point? It's even hard. It's hard to tell. Right in the middle. And nothing at the very back, but that's okay. So like I said, this is gonna be light goods. So we good. So yeah, I'm gonna put that little support beam in, and then I'm done for today. So this time I will see you all in the next clip. That one's really heavy. All right, so there it is. This is the pile of scrap wood that's just kind of been plaguing me on the side of the garage here. And the timetable is moving along. We got to start getting things sort of cleaned and prepped and ready for the house to sell. So it's time to start diving deep into this and seeing what we can make use of it. Well, you can see that there's stuff from everything from the van build in here. Like we still got IKEA wood from, I think this is from the big Malm dresser. Stuff like this, probably not gonna get used. It's pretty narrow, but you never know. This is scrap MDF board from the wheel wells, which we've been finding lots of use for. This is a chunk left over from the table that was basically our workbench for the entire van build. A few pieces of it have been used in the van. This stuff, I don't know. I think this is just scrap wood that Mike left me. Little 1x2s. This big stuff, the 2x7s, left from the wood cabinetry that came with the van when I purchased it. This is 1x7s. That was just happened to be in the rafters of the roof. God knows when my dad bought it or what he bought it for, but it's a lot of the trim in the van, still a good chunk of that left. Like there is stuff coming out of our ears, and I knew I didn't want to just recycle all of it. A lot of it will get recycled, although stuff like this, if I can't find use for it, is going to make great firewood for mine and Lindsay's next or last camping trip, however you slice it. So what I'm starting with now is I want to get that emergency hatch door cut and painted. Then we're gonna go pick up the Velcro and the hinges for it, or not hinges, but the handle for it. And then also what I wanna get done on the top of the cupboard, I need the top piece that will run like this, and then the vertical piece that will run right up against the bed. So let's see what we can find. And one last thing before we get to that, I had this thought yesterday, it probably won't happen in this video, but up here, I'm not pulling it down. That's leftover laminate panels, flooring. That is the floor in the van. There's quite a few up there. And I've been thinking, how do I cover up the bed? Like, if you haven't seen my bed video, let me see if I can show you here real quick. See how you can see stuff under the bed? I want to cover that up. 1, to hold stuff in. 2, to make it a little bit more presentable. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, it would be nice if I had the wall paneling left, like, or the ceiling paneling left to put there, but I'm not going to go buy a sheet of that just to do that. And then I thought, I've got all of that left. I think the flooring might not look half bad covering that up. Now I'm going to have to construction adhesive them together because they're not wide enough, but that's my thought. Again, using what I have. So I wonder if that will happen. Anyways, back on track to the cupboard. All right, so I can't be sure, but I'm pretty sure that the tabletop of the desk that we were using as our workbench for this entire build is going to be a pretty good piece for the top layer of the cupboard. So that's where we're starting. Everything else is either too thin or just too heavy, because I still have the plywood left over from the bed that would make a great base, but it's very heavy. I'd rather use it on the opposite side of the van when I get there. So I need something that's fairly sturdy but not as thin as, say, the subfloor scrap. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. Those are the rough dimensions of the size of the top of the cupboard. So I just got to cut it off here. I'm going to cut off that little end. And then this is the, I guess, width of it, right? 15, it's 15 by 19 and 3/4, right? So that's all well and good. This is going to be the hard part. Is I'm going to have to sand this down and then we're going to spray paint it. Honestly, whichever we have more of, white or gray. I realized I said I was going to start with the emergency door. I started with this first. Yeah, so that was the top of that table. If you remember, it was all scuffed and gross, and now it's fairly nice and smooth. Even on these weird patchy places, it's the same smoothness. That cleaned up a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was just going to get it kind of close and then have to prime it, paint it, sand it, paint it, sand it, paint it just to get it down. But no, that whatever topping material that was, which is this stuff here on the edge, which I guess maybe I should take off the edges as well, came off real easy, and that's real nice. So now I am going to prime it first and let it sit for a couple hours and dry, maybe do 2 coats of primer or something like that before I hit it with paint, just because it's MDF, right? All right. Totally meant to roll the time lapse there. Did not. Decided to go with subfloor for that little emergency door. And I don't know how much you can see me because I don't know what my camera's doing. And I can't see anything because of those. But I found this. Haha. So I don't think it's going to match the orange that's already in the van exactly. But for one little hatch where my emergency food is, I think it might be kind of funny to have it in like this bright. What is it actually called? Mandarin gloss. Hey, baby. So I'm going to sand the edges of this to smooth it down, prime it, and then hit it with that orange. I just realized that orange can of spray paint said paint plus primer on it. So I didn't prime it. I just hit it with orange, and it's in the sun drying now. And now I'm kind of out of things to do in terms of that cupboard while I wait for those pieces to dry, because I need the top piece of the cupboard kind of installed so I know the measurements for the side wall that goes up against the bed. So anyway, in the meantime, we're going to unlock the van. Oh, this place is such a mess. This is a little cupboard that I want to build a door onto. I don't really know what I'm going to put in here. I joked around that it'd be a good place to keep my booze, which, if it's Appleton Estates, might work kind of well. But this is my idea, right? Just to kind of make it look pretty. And this is obviously far too large. Cut this to size and then hinge it. Just got to be sure that it's higher than the little finishing piece of the floor down here, right? Lift it up a little bit. And then I'm thinking if it swung out this way would probably be the best. This MDF is nice and sturdy. It's like 3/4 inch thick. No, it's not. It's like a 1/4 inch thick. That is, anyway, real simple, right? Because then I don't have to do anything. I don't have to paint it or anything. Is it running the same way? Oh no, it's not. Is it? I don't know. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. Give me a second. No, that's running the same as the roof, so it'll be fine. I don't know why I really care about stuff like that. But yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do in the meantime. And then I will have to make that trip to Lowe's to get all this hardware and figure out the best way to mount all of this stuff on here. and I just wanted this clip to show the door done, but unfortunately ran into some snags. So got it on here, right? Got some hinges. Because this board is so thin, I had to make little adjustments. Right, that's the easiest way to show you. There, right? It's just a piece of the subfloor on the hinge to make it thick enough so that the screws don't come through the MDF board, right? And then the same thing was happening over here. So I got one of these little clasps to hold it. I'm using this on the water station on both sides for all the doors as well. It seems to work pretty well. But so I did the same thing. I had a piece of MDF here. But the screws that came with the clasp were really crappy, and there's a screw underneath this clamp, and I completely stripped it. I should not have used the screws that came with it. But anyways, so we're using construction adhesive to heal it, and now I just got the clamps on there. You can see the construction adhesive holding it on. This is the part that goes into the clasp here, right? And that's what holds the door in. So once that has cured up and is nice and solid, so I got two on here because this one, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, my little addition, the subfloor parts there, it kind of cracked the wood. Turned into a bit of a nightmare for this silly little door at the back. But either way, it'll be nice. And we got a handle that we'll throw on here when we're done. So now I'm going to continue on with the cupboard while this dries. Took a little break, went and did some shopping with the mama bear, picked up a few things. Went to the dollar store, I got some clips. This guy to hold the paper towel from the doors open so the wind doesn't take it. I also picked up these bad boys from Campers Village. So they're JETBOIL brand. Apparently I'm turning into a little bit of a JETBOIL fanboy, and I'm okay with that. I only have a metal spatula, and I was quite worried about scratching the finish off the pan. So these are nylon, so that shouldn't be a problem. My concern is they're quite small. It also came with a spoon and a fork, and these things are super cool. Like they're super lightweight. They're built for camping, as most JETBOIL stuff are. But these guys just slide up, lock into place, and now I got myself a nice light nylon fork. I should have washed that first. Anyway, I just did 2 coats of gray on top of the cupboard, I guess the top of this cupboard. I just sanded it and then wiped it with some tack cloth and put another coat on it, so it's currently drying. Hopefully it's done for today, but I'm not really in a super rush right now. But I did get this guy. Well, he's not on there yet, but yeah, that's definitely a different orange. So it's super weird. And I knew it was, but I'm okay with it. It's down low enough. So now what I'm going to do is attach the Velcro strips to either end of this and the other ones onto the little support legs down there, and then put on a little handle and make this guy easy to get off. I went with a fairly, I don't want to say weak, but weaker Velcro than the one that's on the leg. The Velcro I used on the bed support leg can hold up to 15 pounds. This thing is so light and still quite flexible. I just went with 5 pounds on the Velcro strips that I got. So we'll see how that works. Let me get it together. So here's this is the desk panel. It's pretty good. And it is going to go underneath here, right? And it'll be the top of this cupboard space. So I've been noticing editing my videos that me moving the camera around has been causing a lot of, feedback and noises on the microphone. Just another reason I need a new one, a new iPhone. Now you get to look at my hand because it's right near the camera. I was trying to keep my hand away from the microphone, which is on this side. Anyway. A lot has happened and I haven't filmed it. And when I say a lot has happened, I mean in terms of this cupboard build and a few other little quirks around the van, which I will show you. But the cupboard's done. Ugh, there we go. I don't even remember the last stuff that I showed you in the last clip or whatever, but there it is. I put a pair of self-closing hinges on it. It's the exact same stuff that is on the overhead cabinets here and at the back. Looks good. This is that piece that I had to pick up from Home Depot. So now I've got more scrap of this left over, which is fine because I need to do some sort of storage construction build on the other side of the van. I was able to make use of some other scrap stuff for this. Okay, no, I'm editing this video right now and the audio is out of control. And the whole next clip was me going over how the cupboard was put together and everything, but the audio was so bad. Every time I move the phone, you hear jangling and rustling. I don't know if it was just because the phone was old or because it was in a case or that it was on this really crappy tripod. So this thing has got to go. I know now when I do use this, I have to hold it like this because that just, oh, buddy. So anyways, unfortunately, that footage completely useless. And it was funny because what I'm about to show you had a little bit of a comedic payoff that wasn't planned. And I will throw clips from that sequence at the very end of this video. So if you want to see what happened, sorry for the audio. I'll try to drop the volume so you can just see the torture I went through. But this is what happened. So I got the whole cupboard together, and spoilers, you're seeing something for the next video now, but I got the whole cupboard together and I didn't plan this. And since the whole purpose of the video was what can I build from scrap and what I have left, this was super cool. So without measuring, it just turned out, open the cupboard, and this drawer was part of another dresser of one of my grandmother's, and I had 2 drawer slides left over. So I was able to mount it and we got a drawer that's inside the cupboard. So that turned out really cool. I was really happy for that. I'm sorry that I didn't film it, but it's just like mounting any other drawers. Normally you'd have to measure. I got lucky and I didn't have to. I'm also super sorry for the audio quality of these last few videos. And I can't say that it's going to be the best moving forward. I think I started to catch it a little more. I mentioned in this video that I had noticed it. A handful of videos left to come out being shot on the old iPhone. This is on my new one. Thank goodness. This is the end of this video, guys. I'm going to leave it here. I will see you in the next one. Until then, just remember to be happy, be creative, be yourself, and most importantly, just be positive. I was going to be so, hey, I've got a drawer here. Now, since I didn't measure twice and not once, this hinge is gonna have to get moved down. You can see my other attempts on other hinges here too. Right now it's interfering with the drawer slide. Let me fix it. Sometimes things do actually happen for a reason. So now it's on there, so let's just open that up. And where were we? Are you kidding me? Oh, it's the door itself. This is a nightmare now.